Hey guys, how's it going? So today we're going to be talking about our Chapter 4 end test review. Remember, how I want you to do these problems is look at the problem, pause the video, do it yourself, then look at my answer and see if our answers match up. If they don't, make sure you know what you did wrong before we take the test tomorrow. So here's our first problem. We are asked to find the area of the trapezoid. So remember, tomorrow you're not allowed to use your notebook, so you need to remember these formulas. The formula for the area of a trapezoid is 1/2 height times base 1 plus base 2. So here we have our area is 1/2, our height is 3, our base 1 is 6, and our base 2 is 9. Now our next step is we're going to keep the 1/2 and the 3. We're going to add the 6 and the 9. That gets us 15. And our step after that is to combine or multiply that 3 and the 15. So now I have 45. And 1/2 of 45 is going to be 22.5. Now there's a couple of ways to do this step right here. One of the ways I talked about in class was to break 45 up. So 45 can break into 40 plus 5 because that adds together to get 45. Half of 40 is 20, and half of 5 is 2.5. You add those together, you're going to get 22.5. But remember, we cannot forget our label. Our label is going to be centimeters squared. Now our next problem is again a trapezoid, so I'm going to write that formula again. We have 1/2 height times base 1 plus base 2. So here's our formula here. Now remember, when we're talking about bases of trapezoids, our bases always have to be parallel and they have to be across from each other. So the only two that are across from each other are this 3.5 meters and this 4 meters. So I know those are my bases, which means by the process of elimination, this 7 has to be my height. So when I plug this in, I'm going to have, oops, let me erase real quick. I'm going to have 1/2 times my 7 times my base 1, which is, let's see here, and my base 1, which is going to be 3.5, and my base 2, which is going to be 4. Now my first step is going to be to add this 3.5 and this 4. So I'm going to have area is 1/2 7, 3.5 plus 4 is 7.5. Now there's a couple of different ways you can go from here, but I think the easiest way is to multiply the 7 times the 7.5. Now again, just like we did with the other one, I'm going to break 7.5 into things I actually know. So I'm going to break 7.5 into 7 and 0.5. Now I know that 7 times 7 is 49, and I know 7 times 0.5 is 3.5. Then if I add those together, I'm going to get 52.5. So I'm going to have 1/2 times 52.5. Now I had to figure out what half of 52.5 is. I'm again going to break this number up into 52 and 0.5. I know 1/2 of 52 is 26. And I know 1/2 of 0.5 is 0.25. Because if I had 50 cents and I took a half of that, I would have 25 cents. And again, do not forget your label. It's going to be meters squared. Now for all of these on your test, it's going to ask that you show at least 3 lines of work. For this one I showed, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But you need to make sure on your test you show at least 3. So for these next two, all we're doing is we're using our formula, which is right here. And we're just plugging in the numbers. So area is 1/2, our height is 8, base 1 is 14, base 2 is 12. Our next step would be to add our bases together. 14 plus 12, that's going to give us 26. Area, I'm going to do the 1/2 times 8 first because I know that's going to be a big number. So 1/2 times 8 is 4 times 26. Then off to the side here, I'm going to do 26 times 4. When I do that, that's 24. Carry the 2. That's 8. That's 10. I'm going to get 104. So my total area is going to be 104. And since I don't have a label here, I'm going to use units. And then I know since it's area, it's squared. So you should have all of that work down. Now for this next one, we're doing the exact same thing. I'm going to say my area is 1/2 height, base 1 plus base 2. I know my height is 11, base 1 is 6, base 2 is 5. My area is 1/2 11, 6 plus 5 is another 11. Now my next step is going to be multiply these two 11s together. 11 times 11 is 121. And again, I'm going to break 121 up into numbers I know the halves of. So I'm going to do 120 and 1. 1 half of 120 is 60. 1 half of 1 is 0.5. You add those together, you're going to get 60.5, again, units squared, because I'm doing area. Now for these next ones, what I have to do is I have to describe the error here, and I pretty much pointed out right away. The problem here is that they forgot the height right here. Remember, the formula is 1/2 height times base 1 plus base 2. So if it was your test, you would write something like forgot height. But then it wants you to correct it. So if you were to correct it, you would have 1/2 times 8 times 6 plus 14. Now I'm going to do the 1/2 times 8 first because that's easy. I'm going to get 4, and then the 6 plus 14, that gives me 20. So my area altogether is going to be 80 meters squared. For this one here, we are finding the area of this trapezoidal table. So what we need to do first is write our formula. I'm going to write it to the side. Area is 1/2 height, base 1 plus base 2. Now remember, on your test, you absolutely have to write that formula to start out with. If you don't, you'll get counted points off. So our area is 1/2 times 3 times 12 plus 7. So it's 1/2 times 3, 12 plus 7 is 19. Now I'm going to do 3 times 19 first. So we have 1/2, 19 times 3, I'll do that up here. We get 9 times 6, 27, carry the 2, get 57. So we have 1/2 of 57. I'm again going to break that 57 into numbers I know. So 57, I can do 50 plus 7. Half of 50 is 25, half of 7 is 3.5. Add that together, you're going to get 28.5 centimeters squared is your answer. Alright, so now we've made it to the graphing portion, and I'm going to tell you guys a secret. Since you have made it this far and you're watching this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow you guys an opportunity for some extra credit. So, if you are in first hour, what I want you to do on your test tomorrow is I want you to put a star on the top right corner of your page. If you are in second hour, you are going to put a square on the top right of your page. If you are in third hour, you're going to put not third hour. If you are in fifth hour, you're going to put a circle. And if you are in sixth hour, you are going to put a heart on the top right of your page. Now in class, do not ask me about it because we don't want to let other kids who didn't watch the video know. But you need to know to do those steps. Also, don't tell other people. Make sure you're getting the extra credit instead of them. You got to look out for yourselves. All right, back to math. So what it says here is that we need to draw the polygon and label each point. So my first point here is 4, 2. I'm going to go over 4 up 2. Remember that first value tells us how far to the left or right we're going, and the 2 is our y value. That tells us how far up or down we're going. So our first point is A at 4, 2. Our second point is at 6, 5. That is point B. It's at 6, 5. And point C is at 2, 3. We connect our dots, and we have a bit of a triangle there. Now, this is labeling your points. You need both the letter and the ordered pair. If you don't have that, that's not labeling your point. Here's our next one. We need to draw the polygon and label each point again. Our first point, hold on a second. Our first point, let's see what color do I want to use. First point is at 1, 6. I'm going to call that point A. Our second point is at 4, 6. Call that point B. Our next point is at 6, 4. Call that point C. The last point is at 3, 4. Call that point D. Oops, sorry, that is at, what's that? That's at 3, 4. Connect your dots, you get a bit of a parallelogram. Alright, so now we need to draw a square with an area of 16 units. Now we know that a square, oops, I moved it again. We know that a square means that all sides equal. So when you draw your square, you know that all the sides need to be equal. So there's only one way we can do this. has to be a 4 by 4 square, because the area would be 4 times 4, which is 16, and all the sides are equal because all the sides are 4. That could be your only answer. 12 asks us find the perimeter in the area of a polygon with the given vertices. So we need to first label our points. Let's see here. We'll do it in green. We have 2, 2. That's W. We still need a label. Do not forget to label. Then we have 2, 7. Then Y is at 5, 7. And Z is at 5, 2. Connect my dots and I get a rectangle. Now, I need to know the area of a rectangle, which I do know. My area is my base times my height. But then I need to figure out what my dimensions are. So up here I have 1, 2, 3. So that's 3. Here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is 5. Now, my area, I just need base times height. So I have that. So my area is going to be 3 times 5. So my area is 15 units squared. Now my perimeter, remember, that's when you add up everything on the outside. So I have another 3 here, another 5 here. So if I add my perimeter, I'm going to get 3 plus 5 plus 3 plus 5. That's going to give me 16. Remember, with perimeter, you do not have units squared, you just have units. Because you aren't multiplying units together, you just have units by themselves. Alright, and remember it says use 3 lines for each. I have 3 lines for this one. For perimeter, I'm only going to make you do 2, but I have 2 lines for my perimeter here. Now, 13, that says find the perimeter in the area of the polygon. I'll go through this one a bit faster. So, let's see, we have 3, 1. We have 3, 6. We have 8, 6. 8, 1. I'm not going to label my points, but you need to. So we have, let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. It's a square. So our area, base times height, so we have 5 times 5. Area is 25 units squared. Then here we have that our perimeter is 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5, so it's 20 units. Alright, so another part on your test is going to be mean, median, mode, and range. Remember that mean is when you add all the numbers up and you divide by how many there are. So we need to add all of our numbers up. When we do that, we're going to get, let's see here, we're going to get 12 plus 4, we're going to get 10 plus 19, that's 29, plus 15, 4, 60, 86. So when we add all these together, we get 86, but we need to divide it by how many we added. So we need to divide by 7. 86 divided by 7, that's going to give us, one second, let me make sure I get this answer right. 86 divided by 7 is going to be 12.28. Then the median, what we have to do is we have to put our numbers in order. So if you were to put them in order, we would have 6, 9, 10, 12, 14, 16, 19. So the median is just the middle number, which is going to be 12. The mode is the most common number, which everyone only shows once, so we don't have a mean, or a mean of mode, so put none. And then the range is our biggest number minus our smallest number. That's 19 minus 6. Our biggest number is 19, smallest number is 6. So our range is going to be 13. Alright, we only have a little bit of time left, so I'm actually not going to do this one. I want you to do it on your own, but I will tell you how you have to go about it. Remember, we also have to follow PEMDAS. So we first have to do what's in our brackets, then we do what's in our parentheses, then we can do multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. Remember how we talked about it is you read multiplication, division, addition, subtraction left to right. So first you do multiplication, then division, then you do addition, then subtraction. Alright, that concludes this video. Please make sure that you keep in mind the shapes that you're supposed to draw at the top right of your test. Good luck. You guys will do fine. I'll see you tomorrow.